I'm on my own. I'm not for long. I should think Garry will be back in a moment. Well, he'll turn up in a moment. So he'll be here with us in a moment. So I'm just going to start to say the hellos on my own. Right, who've we got? Pia. Pia's here. Evening all from a very windy Finland. Is it? It's been lovely here today, hence the reason I'm in shirt sleeves. Hi, everyone. This is Karen Mackinson. We're here. I have coffee, Karen. Meta's here. Good evening. Good evening. Anne Blake's here. Hello, Anne. How's Max? Good morning, everyone from Australia. Nice and early here, 5 a.m. Blimey, Vicky, you are dedicated. Here he is. Here he is. He's the man of the moment. There he is. Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Can you hear me all right, Garry? Bonnie's here.
Yep.
Hi, happy to get to join today. Need a hoofy distraction. My dad passed away this week. He was 91 and lived a beautiful life. Always had horses in his life. Oh, I will look forward to hearing more about your dad and how he probably got you into horses. Did he? Oh, I'm sorry at his passing, Bonnie. And hopefully we can distract you today. I am so sorry. Sorry to hear that, Bonnie. Sending hugs. Everybody's sending hugs. Pia, so sorry, Bonnie. Hello, everyone, says Kelly. Hello, hello.
Hi, Kelly.
How are you getting on? How are your thoughts? Still on the gonna get those shoes off for polka. Dawn's here. Good evening from sunny Wales. It's actually not raining. Hurrah! It's not raining. Brilliant. It's definitely not raining here. Sorry for your loss, Bonnie. Hugs to you. Me too from warm, sunny Wales. Lovely. I posted some pics of his feet 2 weeks without shoes. He's a bit sore. He will be.
I saw the pictures. I commented this morning, and
well, I haven't seen them. Should we go and have a look?
Like I said on the post, because of the shoes, his feet are weak.
They are.
Now they're making contact with the ground. There's bits that will be breaking off, and they'll be looking a little bit tatty because they haven't had that stimulation before.
Is he not? Is he not in his?
Yeah, he's in boots. He's in boots as well.
Is he?
Yeah. Which is good. And if he needs his boots, he needs his boots.
Find and why is it not? Well, let me search it anymore. It's weird. Oh no, here we go. Oh no, that was on the 18th of February. Why is it showing me that weird 20? I can't see it.
One this morning or late last night, one of the two.
I'll have a quick scan down now and see if I can find it. Let me have a quick look. Oh, I don't know where it is. That's weird. Hang on, I'll share my screen in a second when I can get actually back into the Phoenix group because I've just been chucked out. I don't know why I've been chucked out. Right, StreamYard, share my screen. I have not got a coloured arrow. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. La 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 la. Oh, did we both put something in? Oh no, it's just I don't know. Right, shout when you see it, Garry. Shout when you see. Well, it's not that one. That was.
Go
This one. Oh, yeah. Shoes off 2 weeks ago. Quite sore. So hoof boots on all the time. Looks like he's growing his hooves. Okay, let's have a look. Right. So what do we see here? Well, we see remnants of the old shoeing, right? So look at here. We see remnants of the fact that he was carving the frogs. Also the fact that he's now exfoliating all the old bits of sole that was there. This is newer sole that he's creating now underneath. You see this dip here? That's a crenna. Which is a little notch in the front of P3. It's completely normal, and many horses have it, but it's an interesting evolutionary shaping that has occurred. But what that does mean is if there's any separation here, then this area is always going to be wider. And you can see the separation can't you? You can see the separation in his hooves. So that's been a dietary issue that he's been having for quite some time. And now you can see, look, that the quarters are starting to get tatty and break away because he doesn't need them, you see. And this is, of course, where they put their nails. But he doesn't want them there. All he wants is a good bit at the toe and his heels. Of course, he wants hoof wall, but he doesn't want it active. So that's why he's breaking it off. Bars aren't too bad. Obviously, they'll be better when they're trimmed. But at the moment, what we've got here is just a generally weak-looking foot. But he does look like he does have some toe there, which is very good. And again, this is the other foot. Can you see now how this is breaking off where the nail holes were? Well, they were more up here a bit, but it's all starting to break off because he doesn't want the quarters active. And now you can start to see he's exfoliated that sole, and now the heels look above that sole plane. Looks like he'd been hot shoeing him as well. And there's the notch again. The marginalis, the solearis marginalis, the crena. There it is. And again, we can see this separation. Although I do have to say to you that once he is trimmed down properly, he will probably not have as much stretch as you think he has. However, this sole is probably not quite as thick as it should be because it's not been stimulated for a long time. You can see he's accreting extra old bar material. This is the bar here, look, and here, but this is all bar material that he's accreting forward. So yeah, changes are happening. There he is, lovely looking boy. Hello, fella. There he is, look. And of course, because they don't muck around with the back feet quite as much, he isn't so problematic with his back feet, is he? Oh, look at him loving his track life. He's like, thanks, Mum. I'm loving it. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, so you're getting there. Early days, but he's got a grow foot now. So I'll just give that a little love. Yeah, I'll give you a love. There you go, little love. Stop sharing. So coming along, cooking nicely, as we like to say. Cooking nicely. Stacey says, good evening from Southern England with a nice glass of Prosecco and ready to dig in.
Oh, now we need to know what you're digging into.
Well, this, I suppose.
Are digging into this or digging into dinner?
Probably digging into this. Have we seen you before, Stacey? I'm not sure we have. I can't remember. Remind us if we have seen you before. Bonsoir to all, Angela. Bonsoir. Good evening.
Bonsoir.
Yep, all ready for it to happen now. You're ready. I know you're getting ready. Virginie says, hi, everyone. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yesterday, Garry and I, after the show, we had a quick scan down the Phoenix group, and we had a look at a couple of posts, and we're sorry that we haven't been on all over them this last couple of weeks or so, but we will get back into doing more little videos. You did one, didn't you? You did a little video the other day.
It went on a bit, and when I looked at it and I thought that was quite quick, and it was 20 minutes. I obviously had more to say than I thought I did.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, when that happens?
Yeah,
Charlotte's here. Hello. I'm cooking veggie chili, so a bit late tonight. Hello, all. Oh, lovely. Love veggie chili. It's one of my favorites. Maggie's here. Hello. Hi, everyone. And Blake says, thank you. More painful for me watching him. Yeah, probably. You know, horses are incredible beings, aren't they? And they do put up with a lot. So he'll get on. He's coping. He's got other things going on in his head now. He's got lots of other horses around him, and all of that's going on. So he's not thinking about his feet so much.
Yes, he's got motivation. He's got pals. He's got so much else going on. And I'm sure he's not feeling that sorry for himself, even though his feet are a bit poorly. And in that picture, when he's got his boots on, he was stood beautifully.
But just goes to show how they muck around with the front feet and not the hinds, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I don't get problems with the hinds. It's because you don't mess around with the hinds this way, generally. Definitely digging into this live stream. Not been here before, just been lurking, but decided to stop by.
Welcome, Stacey.
Being shy. Haha. Don't be shy. Welcome. I thought I didn't spot your name before. So welcome to the family. Welcome to the live. God knows what we're going to talk about because we never know. We've got never a clue, honestly.
And
Never know
please
what
do
we're going to
not
do.
worry. She doesn't
Don't worry,
bite.
you're in safe, mad hands. We could talk about anything. In fact, you could start us off. Hello, Poppy. Good to
Hi,
see
Poppy.
you. How's things with you, Poppy? Hope all's well. Yes, you could start us off, Stacey. What would you like to talk about? What's a burning question that you have? And although I have to say that you probably got loads, right? Because people usually have quite a lot, and then one question always leads to another. But yes, all of you, anybody, tell us what you're thinking this evening and what would you like us to talk about. Hi all, just finished my tea. Friday night is chippy tea, homemade sweet potato chips baked in the oven.
Oh, yum.
I'm having sweet potato tonight. Yum, yum, yum. I'm trying to get myself on a little bit of a detox diet because I've been getting a few tummy problems recently. And of course, it's all down to diet and management. So I am detoxing myself. I am off specific foods. And so sweet potato is on the menu for me too tonight. What do you have with your sweet potato, Dawn? Oh, sweet potato chips, just the best. Can you trim a callus? Oh,
Depends.
straight in there. Go on, Garry.
Short answer is it depends. If it's in the way to get the correct balance, yes.
But
simple as that. If it's in the way to get to the correct balance, but if you can't balance because the hoof wall is not making contact with the ground, you leave it alone because that extra thickness of that sole is needed because it hasn't got the support of the hoof wall. That's it in a very, very short nutshell. So it depends, but it's all governed on that all-important balance. And I think what a lot of people find is really hard because you can balance the heels and you can get them right, but where do you balance to the toe? And it's a bit of a fine line, isn't it? Is there a callus in the way if I take it out the way?
Yeah.
Will the hoof wall touch the ground?
Yeah.
But in doing that, am I going to thin the sole? If you think you're going to thin the sole, leave the callus alone.
Indeed.
That's really what it's about. You really can't thin that sole if the hoof wall at the toe is not making contact with the ground.
No.
That will put undue pressure on that bit of the pedal bone. So when the sole is under here, if you haven't got the hoof wall that's coming right down to provide that support, you end up rasping. It can make it thinner and then make it much more sensitive.
In a nutshell.
There you go. I hope that made sense.
I'm just trying to find a picture, but I'm failing dismally. I'm failing. No. I normally have tons of pictures, but for some reason I can't find this one.
There's a specific one that you're after, isn't it? That's why.
Yes, it's a specific picture that I want.
You thought, I wanted this one and I can't find it.
Yeah, that's not so grand because was that one? Is that good enough? Let me have a look at that. I have to download it though. What about anybody else? Other questions?
There was that video, wasn't there, about that is it's not so much about callus itself. When you were in the kitchen and I was filming you with
that's on YouTube. The half and half.
And so that video almost that we were talking specifically about a bad trim and a natural trim or following nature's constant, but the theory behind it would be exactly the same for a toe callus.
Yes. So this one here, you can see this one here, right? Can you see? Oh, yeah, you can see my crosshair. You can see that this foot, let me put it here and then I'm looking at you. This foot, the bars are all a little bit overgrown and you've got bar material that's just accreted forward again. It's not quite down to the hard sole plane, but when they came round to the toe, look, they just removed it. So the wall just stops here and here. So it's only a little one, but you can see that this horse is having to create a callus here, as he hasn't got any choice but to do that because he's trying to protect P3, which is down here. Luckily, this horse has got a little bit of concavity, but they don't always. And so absolutely pointless waste. Oh, look at that creepy nose. It's weird doing that. Why is it doing that? Absolutely pointless waste of time, because if you'd have just left the hoof wall there, that would have been fine. But it's this obsession, utter obsession about taking this toe. What do they think it's doing with the rest of the rubbishy trim that goes with it? You know, so this person who takes this toe off believes that they're doing the right thing, and yet they're doing the wrong thing everywhere else. So it doesn't leave you with a lot of faith, does it? But there you go. So, yeah, in that instance, you could not take that toe callus. That toe callus is forming. And unfortunately, every single time that the trimmer or farrier or whoever comes back and carries on doing that kind of hoof care, that horse is desperately always trying to catch up. Many of them, when they do that, they don't, obviously, nobody's ever consistent. No human being ever is able to be consistent when it comes to doing hoof care. We see that all the time, inconsistencies at every single trim. So therefore, the horse, the sole is being adjusted all the time, and the horse is always trying to sort its balance out. And unfortunately, that's how you end up thinning a sole. And then the heels go up, and then and then it's just a disaster zone. Just an absolute disaster zone. Poppy says, we have sun in Wales, so very happy. Horse is happy on a very dry track. I hear it's very sunny in Wales. Brilliant. Dry track. Hoorah. It's about time, isn't it?
Very nice day here today. I went out trimming and I was far too hot. But I have to say, the lovely Vanya that came out with me for half a day was even hotter. I don't think she's joined us tonight, has she?
No, she's probably asleep. You made her trim a cob.
Yeah, a big, hairy, feathery cob.
Bless her. Veggie sausages, mushrooms, baked beans tonight. That sounds delicious.
Yep, mushrooms.
Which veggie sausages do you like? We like. What do we like? We like
Richmond ones. Yeah.
We
They're probably full of, it's all processed rubbish, but we do like them.
It's nice. About callus, it looks as if my pony is callus stretched, has a callus stretched line, if that is possible. It is what she is using as a toe pillar, but doesn't seem to be a sole callus. If it's on the sole, it's a sole callus. If it's on the wall, it's just wall. Have you got any pictures, Susan? Show us pickies.
I think perhaps what she's saying is sometimes when you get the stretch in the lamina, it's almost like it bulges a little bit.
Oh,
do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
so the stretch, so yeah, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot who it was. Susan. Yeah, sometimes when there is a big stretch and there's lamina there, it can almost create this bump, can't it? In between the sole and the outer hoof wall. Not always, though.
If that's what you mean, Susan, tell us. We don't know. Explain more.
She says yes.
If the callus is in the way and the hoof wall will touch the ground, then won't the horse remove it naturally? Yes, absolutely. But it doesn't need to be there. And in fact, as you're getting closer to that, that is gradually what starts to happen. But in order for you to balance it correctly, you need to have brought, if you're balancing heels to toe correctly, because now in your line of sight, you can see, you see the flies running around, flying around, flying, they're flying, they don't run. Flies run, they fly. Why are they called flies? Why aren't they called something else like walks when they walk? You know, you don't call other flying things flies. I mean, it's really lazy, isn't it, calling a fly because it flies. Anyway, whatever. Bonnie, so the callus, you need to then balance, don't you? So if you don't, you'll be slightly out of balance if you don't just off that callus. But it doesn't need it anymore because it needed it before, very much so. Doesn't need it now because there's wall there. But these are the little nuances that you learn when you become a pro, and you go over and over and over and over it. And of course, one of the big things when you're learning to be a pro is that you think you've got it all right going on up here, and then you go to trim a foot and you're like, oh God, I don't really know what I'm doing. And so therefore, that's us. And that's why we're here going, it's okay, do this next time. And that's why we trim on cadaver hooves to start with. That's the whole purpose of it. Lindsay has done an amazing It's Not Rocket Science video about the toe callus. I did. I'm sure you've all seen that. Well, maybe you haven't. Shall I show you? I really need to do more rocket science ones. Here we go. Let's look up callus, which I think I spelt wrong because it's actually callus, but I spelt it callous as an O-U-S. Here it is. This is the one. Obviously going to do that, but anyway, because there's ads on there. But this is the ad here. Not the ad. What am I talking about? This is the video. Why is there a toe callus? And this was in response to somebody who, in the entire world, who think that horses have retracted soles because they dip. Because they see the toe callus. In fact, they don't have retracted soles. That it's like, what are you seeing? The cup half empty or the cup half full? So go and check that out if you want to know more about toe calluses. Thank you, Charlotte, for telling us. Angela Garberg says, could we look at Catherine Lynn's post today? She has a question about mediolateral imbalance and a huge ring bone on an X-ray. Okay, shall we go and have a look then? Was it today that she posted it? Catherine Lynn.
I think so.
Okay, let's just share. Boop. Let me go and have a look. Here we go. Go back up to the top, and then why have we got two there? Oh, Shirley, we've sorted her out. She needed the 10-day. Ah, here we go. Okay. Let's just get onto that and just that on its own. Let me just make that a bit bigger. Does that help? Is that better, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay. He was just trimmed. I requested that the toes not be taken back. My concern is the medial lateral imbalance this horse has. He has always worn his hooves medially. So if we trim to the HSP, won't his feet look uneven because he is? He has always worn his hooves medially. If we trim to the HSP, won't he look? Well, they might look uneven from the top, but in actual fact, they will be balanced from underneath. But if you don't address it, it's not that they're wearing their hooves medially. It's just that they're not wearing their hooves laterally. Remember that half empty, half full thing? I also feel that the bars need to come down more, which I have been working on. He was sound before the trim. He is still sound on hard footing, but he seems to be just a tad off at the trot in the arena in the nice sand. Well, that's interesting because you wouldn't expect him to be off in sand, would you? So now I'm wondering if it has to do with his side bones. Aha, we have side bones. Sorry, the picture's out of order. The x-rays were taken several trims ago. He is on a track with hay. Good. What hay do we know? He gets some herbs, but no grain and no synthetic feeds. That's excellent. I can't quite cut out the herbs yet. It's okay. Wonder what those herbs are. He is insulin resistant and has raised liver enzymes. Don't they all recently? Potentially from heavy metal toxicity. Oh, tell us more. He is getting zeolite detox. My trimmer mostly trims my horses. I have been working on the bars only because they were not addressed with the previous trimmer. They need practice. Because they pull a bit. So I figured more time with me working on the bars. Don't really understand that bit. would help that. I am planning on doing a 10 or 15 day challenge, just haven't been able to afford quite yet. But I definitely am going to do them. Okay, let's have a look. Right, what do we see here, folks? We see a bit of old scar tissue here, I see. And we see some separation, and we see some thickness to the hoof wall there. We see that we have got bars that have been nibbled down by a knife, potentially. Hard to tell, isn't it, in this situation here, whether we are down to the hard sole plane. But we see a frog. We see the frog is potentially just shedding right now, but we do see that we've had a bit of thrush. Now, don't look like we've got a deep central sulcus in the back, so looking okay. Looks like the toe wall is in play. Shall we move on? Shout out, Garry, if you spot anything.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit of separation, but generally the trim doesn't look too bad. Does it look too bad?
Bit of a central sulcus thing going on there, perhaps?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe something going on just here. Right. Thrushy frogs are painful. Now, you see how things can be a little deceiving? Now, when we look a little closer, can you see that the hoof
looks like he's walking on his sole at the toe.
So the hoof is now not in play. What we've got here is we've got sole in play. And because he hasn't developed that callus there, then that can be quite painful. And can you see how the heels are scooping up like this? So they need to be flatter across. Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah. This is showing us that the horse is trying to shape his feet, but he has got some separation, and those heels really don't look in this position like they're down to the hard sole plane, but it's hard to tell. But if we go back here and we look around here, we can see that we're not quite down to the hard sole plane, and that balance looks off to me.
Me too.
So if this horse has got side bone and his balance is off, then that is going to affect him. See, when frogs are in the way, it really does put people off, but that balance looks off to me, that mediolateral balance. Let's carry on. Again, yeah, that's definitely off. And then we've got a little bit of wall above here, and then absolutely nothing at the toe. Can you see? You can see it dips and finishes there. This doesn't look so bad when we look at it like this, but we're still, I think we have got wall in play there, but I'm not so sure these heels are down to where they need to be. I don't think they are. Yeah. So I think we've got slightly underrun heels. Trying to follow the hard sole plane there, so we're getting a little bit of concavity, but this isn't looking too good, the Mustang roll, because it just looks like they've gone at quite a steep angle, probably more of a 90, and then not just finished it off. And then we've got a little bit of rasping. You can see those rasp marks on the toe. Some rings in play there. Periopple's lumping over a little bit here. Probably just dietary issues. Okay, so now we have got, funnily enough, I put a mediolateral imbalance video up today, I think, on YouTube. Have a quick look. What do we see? What do we see? We see tight, not so tight, close. Let's move down. What do we see? We see tight, tight. Keep moving. What's that? That's interesting. Keep moving down. Now we've got a decent amount of side bone there, haven't we, on both sides? And we have P3 unbalanced, and this has been going on quite some time, and the foot is foxing. I mean, it's not hugely out, but it's out enough. You can see tight here or closer here, not so close there. What have we got going on there? Yeah, so it's definitely out, balance is out. And the only way that you can make absolutely sure that you have got an absolutely spot on balance for the horse is when you trim to the hard sole plane. So if you start taking the toe off and you start even just slightly, and you don't quite get those heels down to that hard sole plane, and then you don't quite get the quarters down, and all of those things just needs to be off a little bit, and then the foot will start to shape like this, and then you can see, can't you, why the foot looks this funny little shape because of that side bone. Now you can see it here. If we can see that there it is. That's the side bone that you can see poking out there. Oh, let's go back. What else do we see here? We see a bit of remodeling at the tip of P3, don't we? The horse is moved, but something potentially is going on in the extensor processor there. This, it looks like the formation of potentially an enthesophyte, which is where the extensor tendon connects to. Hard to tell on this x-ray really, but we've definitely got some remodeling here. And we've also got, of course, a large hoof distal phalanx distance here, because P3 is the palmar angle of P3 is too positive. And again, that is because we spotted, didn't we, that the heels aren't quite down to the hard sole plane, although this was taken a while ago. Look, in January, we still have that issue. So that's why the foot looks strange. You can see here, can't you, that if we go down to the toe, that we have issues here with the toe wall and what is actually touching the ground. So this is not necessarily great for this horse here. We've got a, don't know whether we've got, that's an old abscess there, but I didn't see that. But
didn't notice it.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it? Where that was up, you know, nicking the coronary band. Yeah. So a few things have been going on with this poor horse. So we've had incorrect hoof care, we've had heels too high, we've had toes chopped off, we've had thinning of the sole, we've had laminitic changes, dietary problems, which have started it all off probably. But this is a hoof care. Can you see that? In fact, if you imagined, if you took away that hoof and then you drew around the hoof, as if you drew the hoof that you feel that should be there, it wouldn't be that one, would it? It would look completely different. So, and here we go again. So we got some side bone, and the spaces look a little better on this side, but we're a bit tighter here. You can see, yeah, and mediolateral imbalances. And once you've got side bone, unfortunately, you can't get rid of it. It is there. So you're not going to be jumping a horse that's got side bone. There you go. You can see it there. Oops. Let's go back. And we haven't got the palmar angle isn't quite as great on this foot. On the is the left 4 as it was on the other one. But we can still see that we're still removing some toe, and we've got better depth here because they've left a little bit more toe and they've left a little bit more heel, but this has all been bunched up at the back too. Yeah, so it's what you get, sadly, when feet are not balanced that well. So hopefully somebody will tell Catherine, maybe Charlotte can tell Catherine to come and watch this live, and then she'll see some of the things we've said about it. But no amount of herbs, no amount of anything that you put in the diet is going to help that. It's what you take out actually, and what you feed the horse in terms of the right kind of hay. And then of course, critically getting that balance right. And of course, when you've started to get side bone, that can then affect the way that that foot begins to shape itself. So you're kind of chasing your your tail.
I think the highlight, though, and this is what gets people the most, is balance is only governed when you look from underneath. You can't judge it from above. If you have a vet or a farrier or a hoof care professional that comes along and looks at the feet straight on from the ground without even picking them up, they don't know what they're looking at.
No.
The balance has got to be from below. And the feet can look really weird, they can flare, they can do all sorts of things, but if they're balanced from below, that's the most important thing.
Vivian says, hello, everyone. Did miss the beginning again. Don't worry, I don't suppose you've missed much, really. Thank you. Yes, definitely makes sense. His toes, I feel, are not touching the ground yet, and I feel he has a little stretch, so we'll definitely leave them. He has very short toes, and I never trim them. Oh, yeah. Horses will naturally have a short toe, but if the balance isn't quite right, and if somebody's just been taking a little bit too much, then they're not going to form their natural pillars of support. Yes, Garry, says Susan.
I think that was from a question ages ago.
Oh,
I'm sure it was.
Late to the party, says Francis Lowe. Hello, Francis. How are you? I cannot believe. What are you doing?
My God, we need to wrap you in bubble wrap, love.
Oh my goodness. What is going on with you?
What are we going to do with you? Poor you and your poor husband.
Oh, goodness me.
I bet he went,
Garry
oh my
showed
God,
me. I'm
not
like,
again.
Not again.
Not
Just
again.
recovered. I hope you're okay, and I hope you're not in too much pain. I hope you're on the mend. We need to put you in bubble wrap. And where do I put the pics? On the page or here? I don't think you send it to Garry. Are you friends with Garry? You can send it to him. Just looked up your fly question. So a fly is called a fly derived.
Oh my God. We've got researchers now. Live research.
Two-winged diptera. There you go, Linz. One less thing to keep you awake at night. Thanks, Dawn. This if you look at this, it's weird. If you look at the comments, Garry, it looks like there's another comment underneath. My horses had issues when feeding what I thought was a harmless herb mix. It turned out that something in the mix could cause liver problems. Yeah. Sorry, I meant separation, not stretch. Oh, right. Well, it's similar. Same thing, really. My horse has been on this for a long time and hasn't had it since then and had no problems. Had been good. Catherine says she doesn't feel confident telling between the waterline, white line, etc. Hence, she isn't trimming herself. Okay. I've encouraged her to do the challenges, but it's not an option for her. She definitely has side bone. Yeah. Well, with any luck, she can kind of save up a little bit, maybe. And I know it's hard, but more knowledge needed for her so that she can try and keep that horse comfortable as she goes forward. Sadly, I've got to go. Oh, what, you've got to go now? See you soon. Don't fall. Sarah says, can I ask how you determine the thickness of the sole without x-rays? Is it visible, and how so? By just looking at the foot? If, say, you have been advised by a professional that you are struggling with different terrains and footiness due to thin soles, or is that just a blanket statement when they don't know what's causing it? A great deal of footiness is not caused by the soles. It is caused by the back of the foot and pain. However, if you have very thin soles, yes, but you will notice that the horse will walk quite differently. They will kind of be leaning back off those soles when they're very thin. You just get to know feet more. You get to learn to look at feet and just go, that looks like a thin sole, because it has the way that it's shaping from the apex of the frog forward, and the health of the foot and the collateral grooves. But it comes with experience, really. But no one, not a soul, can tell the thickness of the sole. Not a sole can tell the thickness of the sole until they have it x-rayed. Not really, because it can change from back to front. That's the answer.
And there is no set depth of sole that says, so is 3 or 4 mil a thin sole? Or is 5 or 6 mil a thin sole? So what is a thin sole? It's
whatever that
interesting.
horse needs to be comfortable with all the way around.
So
and P3
depending,
in the right position.
yes, if you've got P3 in the right position and your horse is sound on all surfaces, it doesn't matter how thick the sole is, it's the thickness it needs to be.
It is the thickness it needs to be.
Yeah.
Just going back looking at those pictures. Do you mean side bone? Because Angela says it was said to Kay that if the trim to the HSP, the ring bone would bother the horse more. Do you mean side bone? Because I couldn't see much in the way of ring bone on those x-rays. You mean side bone, I think, don't you? Well, they've not been trimming to the HSP at all. Hence the reason the side bone's there and those medial lateral imbalances, and then the horse marching around on its feet forever and ever. So yeah, that's just a sort of like, they don't really know what
And
they're
in those
talking about.
pictures,
Not
it
really.
sounds as it. Well, are they leaving the? And this happens a lot in traditional hoof care. Are they leaving the hoof unbalanced on purpose, trying to compensate for the side bone? A lot of farriers do that. Can you remember that we've seen shoes that have been really thinned and battered down on one side and left thick on the other side? Are they doing that on this barefoot horse by leaving it unbalanced in this scenario that they're trying to help? It doesn't.
Peaks
They
now
need
on.
to be balanced.
Right, okay, she's put them up. Let's have a look. It does need to be balanced. Let me refresh. Let me go back and have a look at the page. No, I don't see it. Why don't I see it? What's gone on? Don't see it. Oh, I do see it. Hold on. Just connecting your caller. Hold on a moment. Right, there we go. Let's just pics of ponies, laminar stretch ridge. Right. Are you meaning this lump here? Get your fingers in there and press it. It won't be hard. So it's not really a callus. It's not what we call a callus. That's just the stretch. So yeah, and that is a definite stretch. The callus, what we're talking about, would be here on the sole, but you haven't got that. So it looks like this is very much more in play, which is good. So that is good. But you have got stretch all the way around, haven't you? This is just an old solar plate that hasn't exfoliated. Same photo, yeah. Yeah. So I hope that helps. I don't know really whether it does, but there you are. Sarah Sue says that makes sense, as I had a discussion today that involved me saying that the footiness was probably the unbalanced heel. Thanks. Yeah, and maybe thrush. Honestly, thrush causes a lot of footiness. Really does. You can, yeah, you just can tell when a horse is hurting because they're footy, because they're ow, 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 but walking fairly normally. And then you can tell those horses that don't want to they want to really lean back because the soles are so thin. In fact, Garry and I were only looking at a horse this evening that was doing exactly that. Exactly that. Yes, you did. You meant side bone, didn't you? Not ring bone. Jenny's here. Hello, Jenny. Catherine, I too got confused with waterline versus white line, as waterline looks white. Right. So confusing.
It's confusing, isn't it?
Catherine, what I did to get it cemented in my brain while trimming was waterline as a word comes before white line alphabetically. I do stuff like that. And so I keep this in mind, trimming, as the waterline sits before the white line when looking at the sole. Depends which way you think is before, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Are you working from the outside in or the inside out? Depends
But I
which way
get
your brain
you.
works. But
I
you.
get you, girl. I get you. I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you did there. Gemma Rolando, I just joined the live after coming back from playing with Jack in the field, trotting around sound day 3 barefoot. Woo! Well done.
Oh, where's me?
It's so hopeless, that thing. Well done. That's
keep
good to
meaning
hear.
to buy a bigger, better one. It's either that, either that. No, Rachel's telling me off for dissing her pen.
Thought I'd put 2 different pics up. Never mind, it's all right. Don't worry about that. I think go back and feel that toe. So you've definitely got quite a bit of stretch there. So there's been some. If the hoof care has stayed pretty steady for quite some time, then that stretch is almost definitely down to dietary issues. So how long has your horse had that stretch? Okay, so outside wall, then waterline, then white line. As long as you remember, it doesn't matter. As long as you remember which way you're starting from. When you know where you're starting from, then you've got it right, haven't you? So the Phoenix group is doing extremely. Oh, there's a new member just come in. Extremely well. Still, of course, everybody's still posting up posts. I love it. Somebody posted up. I don't know who it was, but somebody posted up today. Can you please post some pictures of rock crunching hooves and horses to make me feel good? And didn't say why, but I noticed lots and lots of people were posting lovely posts showing their horses absolutely fine, no problem at all, which is lovely to see.
And that's really good to see, but you can't carve a hoof to look healthy. So it's really good to see all of those rock crunching feet, but if you haven't got feet like that, is it because they're not healthy and then they need to grow healthier? Yeah, you can't carve it, because otherwise we're going to end up going back to where we started, because the high heels and the hoof pastern access and all of that is to make them look better for us. You can't make them, you can't sculpt them to be good. Remember, it's co-trimming. The diet and the management and the co-trimming is the complete package. And to get all of that, don't forget the challenges.
Do those challenges. Do those challenges. Dawn says, thanks both for all your help and information. I'm learning so much and loving the challenges. Still so much to learn. Brilliant. Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, and I meant to tell you the other day, you know, when I was going on about all those lovely gifts we were given, I forgot to mention this one that I wear constantly on my wrist. So it's a Pandora. You see this one here. And it made me cry when I got it. I mean, it's very tiny, so you probably won't be able to see, but they gave me. Let's see if you can see that.
You'll have to get Asha to take a photo of it with a dizzy
you see
super
little
duper
face
camera.
In there? That's Sunny. Well, you probably can't see it. That's Sunny, and it says, you'll never read that, but it says Sunny the inspiration. Oh, it made me cry. So that sits on my wrist now forever, ever. Sunny's with me. And that was another lovely gift, which I completely forgot because it was on my wrist, to say thank you to our lovely, awesome students for all those lovely gifts. I was just very bright, really, wasn't I, to have the training camp around my birthday. I didn't plan that. I didn't plan it at all. Didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't plan it. It's just the way it fell.
I got a goodie bag too, and I got told, "Oh, take it home and open your presents in front of Rachel and do it together." And I haven't got the art because it's not my birthday yet, so I'm saving them.
Oh, you've not opened it then?
No.
Ooh, I look forward to finding out what's in that.
Cupboard.
I do look forward to finding out what's in that. Shirley, did you see Shirley Wagman? Hello. Did you see that I put your link to the 10-day challenge, the direct link, so you don't have to go through the page again. I put the direct link in there for you on the page. If you go back and have a look. Hello from Saskatchewan. I'm going to try and just say the word Saskatchewan.
You did better than me because I just said somewhere in Canada.
Yeah. Saskatchewan, Canada. Love the way Garry pronounced it during the video feedback on Spirit. Go on, say it. Go on, Garry.
Saskatchewan.
How did you say it? I'd love to. I'm going to have to go back and watch that again. Saskatchewan. I know it's a mouthful.
Saskatchewan. I'm going to bring Rachel on the telly in a minute.
Just had to throw that in. Thanks again, Garry, for that feedback. It was very helpful. That's lovely. That is good. Hope that helped. Laura Wood, we need to pin that post. What post? Oh my God. Honestly, I've got a brain like a sieve. Brain like a sieve. I love Garry's pearls of wisdom. Yes, I do too. They come out as little pearls. Little pearls of wisdom. We'll have to get him a pearl necklace and say.
Oh God, no. What? Dame Edna glasses and a wig.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Christmas done. Pearls of wisdom. Oh, definitely. Stacey Cripps says, what causes flare to develop? Well, it depends what flare, really. It depends whether you're talking about natural or unnatural. Oh, no, says Stacey. If we're talking about natural flare, which most people are actually when they're talking about flare, and you can take the shoes off a horse and suddenly flares will start going out all over the place. It's to do with the way the biomechanics are. Because the biomechanics determines the gait, and the gait determines the shape of the foot, or the little nuances in the horse's gait determine the way that horse walks. So when the horse has been in shoes, for instance, or not trimmed correctly, doesn't always have to be in shoes, then the biomechanics can be damaged. It's not really the word that I wanted to say, really, but the biomechanics are perhaps not working as they would do normally if the horse just had their normal feet, or were able to shape their normal feet, and were able to shape their pillars of support and their natural wear patterns properly. And so when the shoes come off or the horse starts being trimmed naturally, then the body starts changing and the feet change to compensate for that. And it's totally natural. Completely natural. And sometimes you see that you get more flare on one side than you do on another, and conformation, of course, if you've got your horse has got conformational issues. I don't really want to say issues, because conformation isn't an issue, or what we might term as not brilliant conformation isn't an issue for a horse if they're allowed to shape the foot that they need. So yeah, and like I said, flare can change. But unnatural flare, which is sort of an increase of mass on the foot, on one side of the foot, that can be addressed. But that might also be come in part and parcel with a natural flare as well. But the big thing to remember with flares is don't really worry about them as long as the hoof is down to the hard sole plane. If it isn't, and your horse is flaring, then that can cause weakness in the structures, more so because the wall is slightly further away from the sole, and so it can cause more weakness and it is more likely to crack. So that's why it's important to make sure that hoof wall is down to that hard sole plane. Julie Bradbury.
There was a question a bit earlier, and I thought, oh, I must have missed that, and I missed it, but I can't find it now. And somebody was saying that their horse had developed some flare, and the farrier wanted to rasp it off.
If you go flaring off, if you go if you go rasping off natural flare because it doesn't look nice, you're just going to go straight through the outer hoof wall, straight through to the inner hoof wall, and you are going to contribute to that weakness. I'm just trying to see if yeah, let me just show you this picture here. Bum, 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 bum. So this is a horse called Chance. Okay, so this is Chance. You can see this. This is natural flare and a slightly wry foot. So he's slightly twisting. So it looks like if you were to allow this foot to overgrow, he would, this side of the wall would bend this way and this side of the wall would bend that way. That's the typical wry. Just a flare on its own wouldn't have the opposing bend in the hoof wall. But he looks terribly unbalanced from the top. Looks like he really is. But in fact, what's happening is that if you looked underneath, he is in fact balanced. And you can see that this part of his hoof wall underneath look thicker than this part of his hoof wall, because this is more of a weight bearing structure than this side. But if I was to try and rasp that away straight through that hoof wall, I would go through the outer hoof wall and into the inner hoof wall very quickly. And he needs that there. He very much needs that flare there. So that's important that you don't do that. So that would be a natural flare.
With traditional hoof care, because we are so used to seeing symmetry, when we see these little idiosyncrasies that help the horse to support itself from the ground, it's almost so alien to us, because for so many years we've had horses that are shod and shaped to a shoe. Just because it's common doesn't mean that it's right.
That was another pearl, Karen.
That's another pearl. That's another pearl. Yeah, another pearl there.
There's a pearl necklace.
That's it. You've just started me off, Karen. Now they're just gonna keep coming.
Julie, hello, up in Scotland.
Hi,
it was
Julie.
A friend of mine from across the west of Scotland that needs the motivation to continue on the barefoot journey after many years of struggle. She's coming to the Scotland workshop. Oh, okay, great. That's good to know. That's very good to know. I look forward to meeting her. Jenny says, I offered help on a well-known Facebook page, and me and another Phoenix warrior got a bit of a serve from folk. Hang in there, and the original poster joined FB Phoenix Way last night, and she let me know she had got to stand in out for the truth. Yes. Yes. Ooh, very good. You'll all spot each other as well as you go out there. You'll be like, oh, I see Jenny. She's another one of our Phoenix warriors. Come on, let's join together. And it is it's just not right, is it? I think I saw a post by Bethan on Galsworth today or yesterday. Did you see that, where she said that she'd put up a post about laminitis, I think, and they'd removed her post, and it was on a laminitis page, and then apparently I don't know how, but then it was allowed to go back on there, and I think they said it was okay. But censorship happens all the time, and of course we do it too. We do a bit of censorship. I mean, we all are guilty of it. I am guilty of we are in this group guilty of a bit of censorship, because if people come on and they start speaking about unnatural hoof care, they're going to have the comment removed, and they're going to be told about that, and if they persist, they'll just get removed from the group, because we can't have it. We cannot have the Phoenix group being like other groups, which is just a hodgepodge of confused information. We're not going to have that. This has to be very straight information. And you know, if you've hung around in the group long enough, that some of that information isn't isn't easy sometimes, because if you put pictures up and the x-rays aren't looking too good and it's not looking too good, it's a sad fact, but you need to know about it. You do, because you've got to manage your own expectations, and it's painful. And you do look back at your history with your horse and think to yourself, how did that all go wrong? It went wrong because you didn't have the information. That is why it is crucial that people get on those challenges, because you get that foundation, and then hopefully you have more confidence to stand up to the professionals. And I'm telling you now, guys, you scratch the surface with the knowledge that you know. If you're brave enough to, you will find that that person hasn't got that knowledge.
There are people already coming back to us that have completed either the 3-day in-person workshops or the challenges, and they've had to have a professional, whether that be a hoof care professional or a vet, and they've got a bit hot under the collar, and they thought my heart was going to jump out of my chest, and they just ask a question or two, and then they realize how much that they don't know. The professionals,
how much that the professionals don't know.
They don't know. So when you start questioning them in a considered and polite way, they either go quiet, I haven't thought of that anymore, or they get angry.
And they do.
And that
angry
happens.
and aggressive, actually.
Yeah, they
that
can.
Just anger and aggression comes out when you are not confident.
Yes,
it really does.
And I think
a lot.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it? And it's something that we were discussing the other night after the live, and we were discussing a few cases, and I think what we've got to realize is, as horse owners, so forget us being hoof care professionals right now, when you have those professionals come and look after your horse, who is paying for those professionals? You are.
It's so hard. It's so
yes
hard.
You want them to come, you probably want them to come to tell you something, but you've got to find out the protocols that they're using. How much of a success rate is there?
Always ask too, Garry?
Always ask that,
and ask them what case studies, right? Ask them for case studies.
We want to know the percentage. We want to see the data. Have you got half a dozen case studies and all of those things? And I would say 99 times out of 100, they haven't got any. And that's sad. That is the sad reality. And it's tough out there. But you are in control of your horse's life and health.
Yeah, and it's really difficult.
Owners owning
I
it.
get it, but
It's
you have
hard.
to own it.
It
You
really is hard.
Own it. You have to own it. The reason the Phoenix Group exists is because owners want to own it, but because owners have been taken down the rabbit hole by bogus science and misinformation. And what's so amusing is that they say that what we're saying is misinformation. So we've got saying that we're saying that they've got misinformation. They're saying that we have. The horse is the truth. That's why I ended up getting into to where I am now, because I was that person way back. Remember, if you know my story, I was that owner way back with Sonny, who was being told to do it their way, and I did it their way, and he got worse and worse and worse until eventually I went, I'm not doing it that way anymore. I'm going to do it a different way. I was brave and I was strong, and probably because I was vastly ignorant of the system, that's probably why I got away with it at the beginning, because now I know how the system works. And when by the system, I mean the equine world. Now I know how it works. I can see how terrifying it is. But back then, I was oblivious to that, really. These were just some people who were telling me that my my pony was doing this, and I was finding out different information. So it didn't scare me too much to sort of go, nah, I think I'll do this a different way. Thanks very much. But I can totally see nowadays why people are feeling that. Because especially if people are frightened by vets and other hoof care professionals, because they will say, well, I've fixed blah blah so many horses. Well, that's great. If they say that to you, let's see it. Let's see it. Because if you say that to us, and this is what we say to all our HMB pros, keep it on your phone. And when they say, well, do you have they wouldn't even ask that, because you're straight in there going, let me show you this case study. Let me show you this. Let me show you this toe. This is what it looks like when it's growing out. This is what a healing angle looks like. This is why. This is why what happens when you chop the toe off. Da, 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 da. And you ask any vet or many other hoof care professionals, and they won't have it. They won't have that information. I used to that's why I started up the Barefoot Horse magazine in the end, because I started up newsletters, because I wanted my clients to speak to each other, because I knew how isolated they felt. And when I would say, not only have I got this case study here, but Charlotte, she lives in Buckland Monacorum, and she has a horse called Hero, and look here. You don't live too far from each other. Why don't you get together? Why don't you meet? Why don't you see what each other's doing? Share stories, get to know each other, support each other. And I've done that, haven't I, Charlotte? If you're still watching, from the start. That's what I've always done. So you need the knowledge, the confidence, and you need support. And that's what we're here for. I haven't even gone through the rest of these comments, and Garry, we are an hour and 10 minutes in, nearly.
I know we're doing bad today. How many comments?
Pin the post rock crunching hoof. Pin the post of the rock crunching hoof on feet. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
I will do. He didn't say. Thank you. I will beat the rasp away with the yard broom. Ha. Just join together on public hoof pages and support each other. And honestly, in the end, we make a difference, as like for the lady who joined last night. You do make a difference. You do. Thank you, Lindsay. We don't want any more confusing information. Thank you for this. I won't allow it. Nope. No, I won't allow it. Garry and I won't allow it.
We are also, I know we got to shut up. We are not, we've got, was it 6.2 thousand members now?
6.2 thousand members.
6.2 thousand members. And yes, well, that's just mad, isn't it? It's just growing so quickly. And we're not as naive to know that there are going to be people that disagree with us that are part of this group.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that they are open-minded enough that as they see all of the success cases that are coming through, and it's not just about showing all the horror stories, it is about showing the successes in this group too, to show that we're not nuts and we're not a cult, and we have yours and your horse's best interest at heart. Another pearl of wisdom.
Charlotte says, I was discussing concussive laminitis with someone today in the HM public page. I was out of my depth and got nowhere, but I hope it will have started her thinking. Yeah, well done, Charlotte. I'm interested in hearing from Lindsay and Garry about concussive. Should we talk about that tomorrow? Should we start the live with that? Gary's going to make a note. I can see him making notes. Good pin. Charlotte Scott, Bonnie Doyle, July the 8th, the day the Clydesdale begin the 2-year course. Clydes begin on July the 8th. Ooh, it's so exciting.
Charlotte wanted to know when my birthday was.
Which is?
July the 8th, when the Clydes start.
July the 8th. Mary says, I got kicked off a group after my first comment posting the importance to the stop the chop. Oh, that is winding the equine world up right now, us with the Stop the Chop campaign. It really is. I saw a post. We were driving back and we were shared a post of a trimmer in South Wales, I think, in the UK, obviously, going on about, oh, this whole Stop the Chop campaign, you know, these people who shout really loud about it, you know, it's not all about that. And there's very many ways you can trim it. And you're like, no, you just, if you take the toe off, you're causing problems to the horse's foot. It doesn't matter how you flour that up. You can try and flour. If you're doing that, you shouldn't be doing it. Like, full stop. Just pack it in. Because osteonecrosis has never been researched, and we have done it. And we know, and we can tell you that it is down to chopping toes off. Thinning the sole, leaving the heels too high, and it happens. So stop. You can't flour it up any old way. Yes, you've done it for decades. It was so helpful to have my HM tribe. It was, wasn't it? It really was. Yeah, and we have so many very clear and compelling case studies. We do indeed. Right, last couple of questions. Vivian, hello. Vet took ACTH for cushions on Wednesday. Haven't got the number back yet. The vet already saying she needs more because she's not shedding as she would like. In the past, when we upped the dose, my mare seemed drugged, definitely not herself. I lessen the dose, diet and management in place. Always learn from your views and cushions. Was pergolide. We spoke about that before, haven't we? And one of the side effects is not only weight loss but depression. So diet and management can help. You're never going to stop the problem, but you're not going to stop it either with any drug that is meant to be. People think that you get given the drug, it's going to cure it, and you carry on doing the same old things that you did before, which cause the problem, which I know you're not doing, Vivian, because you're trying really hard. But get the diet and the management really spot on as best as you can. That will work better than any drug. It really, really will. It will trump the drugs. If any of you see a post or comment that you're not happy with, please click the 3 dots at the top right of the comment and click report to admins, and we will look into it. She takes her job so seriously, Garry.
Well done, Charlotte.
Got it, Charlotte. You're quite right. Don't mess with Charlotte. She knows what she's on about. You are the best. Hashtag stop the chop. I love that Gorsworth track livery are doing x-rays for their case studies. They're getting, oh yeah. Oh yes. We need to do that. We really do need to do that. All right. Last comment. Thanks both. I'm off to bed. Been up since 3:45 a.m. for work. See you tomorrow night. Zzz. And we're off too, Dawn. Thank you everybody for tuning in again. I don't know where these hours go. They just fly by. How can we just talk so much with your pearls of wisdom, Garry?
Tomorrow is Saturday.
Oh!
Are we doing anything? Have we decided?
We are going to do Challenge Club tomorrow night.
Okay. So we need to put that up in the group, don't we, to say we're doing it?
Yeah, Challenge Club tomorrow night for everybody that has done the 15 and 10-day challenges. And if you've done a workshop, you can come on there too, because these are like the 3-day challenges. So anybody that's done a workshop, anybody that's done the 15-day or 10-day challenge, well, it would be the 15, obviously you can't do the 10, come along to Challenge Club tomorrow night. And be prepared to get your camera on and your microphone. If you don't want to speak, switch your camera off and switch your microphone off. But it's club time tomorrow night. See you then. Bye.
Take care.